You know Las Vegas for its shows, gambling, and bright lights. But there is so much more to the city than meets the eye.
We're like a place from the past, like Las Vegas used to be.
Discover the city of Las Vegas on YouTube. Hey, and welcome to Down for Vegas, where we talk everything Vegas as told by segments on our YouTube channel at City of Las Vegas. I'm your host, Meredith Hall. On this show, we give you things to do from a local's perspective, along with lessons in Vegas history and behind the scenes of our departments and teams here at the city. Today, our show is coming to you from the office of the Mayor of Las Vegas. Recently, Mayor Shelley Berkley, who works right here, hosted her very first State of the City address. To celebrate this momentous occasion for our new mayor, we wanted to get to know her a little better. We sat down with her recently in this office to take a look back at her incredible life and impressive career.
I'm Shelley Berkeley, and I'm the mayor of the fabulous city of Las Vegas. You could tell, even at an early stage, I loved clothes. Here I am in a little hat and a coat with a purse and matching shoes, and nothing has changed. I was the firstborn in my family, born on the Lower East Side of New York when my parents were living with my grandmother. Then my family, when I was 2.5, moved up to the Catskills, a rural area about 100 miles from New York City. My dad was a waiter in upstate New York. This was the early 60s, having a hard time making a living. So one night he put my sister and I and the dog in the back seat of our car, parents in the front seat. Everything we owned was in a U-Haul hooked up to the back bumper. No air conditioning, and it was July. We drove across country from upstate New York. My dad had a letter of recommendation to get a job as a waiter in a restaurant in Southern California. They decided we were going to go to Las Vegas for the night. They found a motel that is still there, across the street from the Stratosphere. My parents wanted to go out. They were on the corner of Sahara and Las Vegas Boulevard. All of a sudden, they heard beeping and hunking. They look over. It was somebody from the little town that we just came from that they knew. And they went out to get a drink. And the guy said to my father, why are you going to Southern California? You're a waiter. This is waiter Mecca. A couple of days later, my dad went down to the Culinary Union. They sent him out to the Old Sands Hotel, where he eventually became the maitre d' of the Copa Room. He'd been there for well over 33 years. The hotel was imploded. He was the longest serving employee. So we made a life for ourselves in the middle of the desert. Once I started school, I realized what a great place this was, because during the summer, I didn't leave the apartment. It was so god-awful hot, and I thought my parents took me to hell. And then I started at John C. Fremont. It all turned out okay. Neither one of my parents graduated high school because they had to go to work to help support their families. From the very beginning, my mother was sure that I could do anything that I set my mind to, and she told me that. I always wanted to be in public service. Never a question of that. I was going to run for office. My grandparents came to America to escape the Holocaust. They couldn't speak English, had no money, had limited skills, but they did have a dream. I grew up hearing my grandmothers talk about their hopes, dreams, aspirations, what life was like, where they came from. So I always thought it was important to give back to this country for having taken my family in and letting us survive, but more than that, letting us thrive, and we certainly have done that. I was student body president of UNLV and started getting very politically active. Might as well have been Harvard for me. It opened up an entire world to me. I never felt not as good as anybody else in Washington, D.C. If they had Harvard degrees or Yale degrees or wherever, I thought my diploma from UNLV put me in very good stead. I was able to hold my own with all of them. Showed up at law school, here I am. I was in a class of 280 freshmen at the University of San Diego. 20 of us were women. It's tough. I mean, I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. What am I eating? I don't know. And worked, every summer I came home from law school, and I was cocktailing in those days. I made enough money in the 8 weeks that I was home cocktailing to pay my whole way through the whole year, following year from law school. I had just turned 30, been married for about 5 years, and I was telling my mother and my mother-in-law, again, neither of them educated, never worked outside the home, and I said, I want to start running for office, and I want to run for the Nevada State Assembly, but I think it's time to start the family. My mother looked at me, and my mother-in-law agreed. They said, do both. Max was born in May of '82, and I won my first election to the Nevada State Assembly in November of '82. None of that could have happened if they hadn't been with me to help. I had my eyes on being in Congress for a whole host of reasons. And I decided I was working at the Sands. I was Vice President of Government and Legal Affairs when I decided that I was going to run for Congress. I got elected at the beginning of November. My son Sam was bar mitzvahed at the end of November. I moved to D.C. I got sworn in at the beginning of '99 in January 3rd or something. And then Larry and I got married in March during the spring break. I came home every weekend for 14 years because I needed to be home for the kids.
Congresswoman Shelley Berkley, and if any of you have ever attended a Veterans Affairs Committee hearing, you know that the Congresswoman is also a strong advocate for our veterans.
Joe, it's a pleasure to see you on my home turf. We see each other often in Washington at our VA committee hearings.
What I'm most proud of is building that VA hospital. When we got the funding for the VA hospital, it was the largest earmark in the 2006 federal budget. It was a Republican president, a Republican VA secretary, Republican House, and a Republican Senate. I was able to convince them that VA hospital, full-service VA hospital in my congressional district was essential for the veterans that lived here, and they agreed. I ran for the state Senate, and I lost that election.
We have to get our debt under control and end wasteful spending.
I was heartbroken when I lost that Senate seat. When you do a large race like that, by the time it's over, win or lose, you're emotionally, physically, mentally exhausted. There's nothing left of you. Plus, I had the heartbreak of having lost the election. This was my life path, and I'm not there. Oh my gosh. And after a number of months, it was time to get off the couch and get back to life. I'm a working woman. I like working. Some of my most productive years were in between elections. I was president of Channel 10, the PBS station. I was president of Women's Democratic Club of Clark County. So I was very involved and working also. I got a call from Toro in New York asking if I would be interested in being CEO and senior provost of Toro. And I told them from the beginning I had no medical academic background. I didn't think being married to a doctor was a good criteria for running a medical school. After about 2 weeks, I decided to take the job. I didn't know whether I could succeed in it.
I wake up every morning, I can't wait to go to work. I put in a long day and then wake up the next morning and can't wait to go back.
At this stage in my life, I said, when would I be able to do something so out of my wheelhouse that there was no guarantees would I last a day, a week, a month. I turned out lasting 9.5 years, and it was a wonderful experience for me. The last year I was there, we had 4,200 applications for 180 slots in the med school. And when you have that many applicants, you can afford to be very choosy about who you select for your incoming class. We were graduating some extraordinary future healthcare providers for the state of Nevada. I was asked by Toro to sign another contract for 3 years, and I decided I didn't want to do that. I had done everything I could do for the school. I would just be repeating myself at that point. And I thought, let me leave when everyone loves me, because it's not going to get any better than this. Through the year, I started thinking, well, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? You're healthy. You've got a lot of energy. I love public service the most. So what can I do? mayor. I could be the mayor of my hometown and actually work all day and sleep in my own bed at night. But I threw my hat in the ring. It wasn't a question of worrying whether I would win or lose. It was whether I could do the job. 4 generations of my family have called Las Vegas home. We belong here, and there's no other place on earth that I would imagine going to. The excitement of Las Vegas, the thrill of it, the possibilities in 60 plus years that my family has lived here, never disappointed, never disappointed. I am very proud. I've left a legacy in the community in my hometown.
We're celebrating a birthday 120 years in the making. Coming up after this short break, we look into the history of Las Vegas's annual birthday bash, the Helldorado Days Parade. Plus, we team up with a local historian to take a look at what Las Vegas was really like back in 1905. Stay with us.
Hey dude, I know the wait for a ride tonight is ridiculous. In a cab, it would be super expensive. It would totally suck to have to come back to get your car. But man, you know what else would suck? You getting you killed, driving home wasted.
If you won't listen to anyone else, at least listen to you. Save yourself. Always drive sober. Paid for by the Nevada Departments of Public Safety and Transportation.
Behold, the angry giant. Behold, the angry giant. Behold, the angry giant. Behold, the angry giant! It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
There's a place to share gossip about the office party fun, and a place to share the story you tell everyone. There's a place to share a laugh about when things went wrong, and a place to share the video of you dancing to your song. There's a place to share spare change, lunch, and your time. But we could all be better at sharing how we're feeling inside. 76% of employees have struggled with at least one issue that affected their mental health. When you share, you're not alone.
Thanks for staying with us. The Helldorado Days Parade. It's a birthday bash that dates back to 1935. And it's an annual tradition that we uphold to this day. But how did it even get started? We take a look back at the history of this iconic event. It happens once a year. It's a birthday celebration that takes us back over a century to the birth of Las Vegas in 1905. The streets of downtown Las Vegas turned into the wild, wild west. It's the Helldorado Days Parade. The word Helldorado came from prospectors coming to the area in search for gold. It's a play on the term El Dorado, which is a fabled, legendary city in South America rich in treasure that explorers have hunted to find. Instead of treasure, though, out west they found extreme heat and poor-paying jobs, making it Helldorado instead. It all started in 1935. While construction on the Boulder Dam wrapped up, Las Vegas officials were worried about losing its residents and tourism. In an attempt to keep people coming to town, they began branding Las Vegas as a last frontier, Wild West kind of town. With that brand came a 4-day celebration around the city's birthday. The local Elks Lodge put the festival together with support from local businesses and the Las Vegas Chamber of Commerce. With that, the first Helldorado Days Festival was born. In that original Helldorado Days Parade, people rode on horses and in carts and wagons and dressed up as cowboys, prospectors, and women wore full-skirted dresses to ride down the 2-mile length of the parade. All of this, even though Las Vegas was never a frontier town as pictured in the Western movies. The Western theme was all a marketing campaign to attract tourism. And it worked. That first year was such a success that they decided to make it an annual family-friendly event. The idea was to turn it into a tradition that helped people show their Las Vegas community spirit and maybe entice people to stay in town rather than move on once the dam was completed. Every year, the parade got bigger and more well-known and not only enticed people to stay in Las Vegas, but also attracted visitors from out of town. It got so popular that in 1946, a Western movie called Helldorado, starring Roy Rogers and Dale Evans, was made using the parade as a backdrop. Some of the attractions that took place over the years were marching band performances, a rodeo, a beauty contest, and of course, awards given for the best floats of the parade. Both local businesses and the hotels on the Strip took part in putting together floats for the event, some of which would go all out. From a diving board into a pool to ice skating, check out these floats from the Sands Hotel. Some of these are crazy. One of the most bizarre contests of the festival, though? The Whiskerino contest. A contest in which people would try and grow the longest and most unique beards and mustaches. In the late 1990s, the festival went away for some time due to cost outpacing the festival's demand. In celebration of the city's 100th birthday, however, the festival made its return in 2005 with the help from the Las Vegas Centennial Commission. Since that historic birthday, it has remained an annual tradition. Helldorado does not have that modern flair of what people now know Vegas to be, but instead, it's a tradition that takes Vegas back to its historic roots. Over the years, the festival has become a source of community pride and having hometown fun. Even though the Wild West might not be Las Vegas's history, it's still a fun way to celebrate the West, the spirit of its past, and Las Vegas's birthday. So, if Las Vegas wasn't actually a Wild West town, then what was it? Some might call it a boomtown. We met up with local historian Bob Stoldal at the Springs Preserve to take a walk through history. Today, we're breaking out the time machine and taking a trip back to Las Vegas in 1905. Or at least it feels like we are. This is a replica of what the beginning of Las Vegas looked like. We're here at the Springs Preserve at Boomtown to talk Vegas history. To do so, we met up with Bob Stoldal, a bit of a local historian legend, to help us tell the story of Las Vegas. To tell that story, we're going to start in 1902.
Las Vegas was selected as a division point for the San Pedro, Los Angeles, and Salt Lake Railroad when Senator William Clark bought the land from Helen Stewart, where we sit today, where Las Vegas is today, and purchased it because of the water. We are in the desert, but Las Vegas is unique. It's special because it has water.
January 1905. In anticipation of the railroad coming to Las Vegas, surveyor J.T. McWilliams plotted out the original Las Vegas town site on the west side of the railroad tracks. Just 5 months later, the railroad came in and hosted an auction on the opposite side of the tracks in the area we now know today as Main and Fremont Street. Of course, the people who already settled moved from west to east to get into the area that would become downtown.
The town grew east from Main Street, and on one side you would have the Nevada Hotel, now the Golden Gate, and on the other corner you would have the Overland Hotel. And for the first 2 blocks, that was the business district of Las Vegas.
Some of those businesses in that 1905 to 1910 business district are recreated in a smaller scale here at the Springs Preserve. There's the First State Bank, the Lincoln Hotel, the Majestic Theater, a general store, and of course, the train depot. When people arrived to town and stepped off the train,
They would see their bank. They would see their bank, and they would see the drugstore, and they would see these 2 hotels. So there was this wonderful image of the community. Past 2nd or 3rd Street, there wasn't a lot. There were some residential areas, but this was our town. But there were flies and there was dust. It was the middle of the desert. It was hot and it was dusty. But there was an energy in Las Vegas at that point, and that energy is still here today, an energy of growth, an energy of development, an energy of people with ideas for tomorrow, of buildings to go up. You didn't come to the spot in the middle of the desert and hang around. You came to this spot in the middle of the desert and did something. Everybody did something important.
Missing from the early days of Fremont Street, though, a place to drink and a place to gamble. Some people building the railroad had strong opinions.
If we don't have some control, he said, Las Vegas will become a gambling hell.
So there was some compromise. Blocks 16 and 17, 2 blocks north of Fremont on 1st Street, became the only area in town where selling alcohol would be legal. As a result, property prices on these blocks were some of the highest in town.
So starting the night of May 15th, the auction, tents were already being set up at Block 16 in order to sell alcohol. The owner of the Arizona Club, which he bought his partners out, and he designed and built this beautiful structure called the Arizona Club. Glass fronts, a beautiful long wooden bar, and it was really state of the art. And so Block 16 became a place, the Arizona became a club, became a place where if you got off the train and you had maybe an hour, half-hour stopover, you headed down to Block 16 because you'd heard about it.
Many thought Las Vegas would disappear as quickly as it was built like any other boomtown, but that was not the case due to two key factors: water and the railroad.
Many lazy historians and lazy journalists called Las Vegas in the early days just a whistle stop. Las Vegas was never a whistle stop. One of the exciting things about Las Vegas is we're constantly growing, we're constantly developing, we're constantly building. But at the same time, as we grow and we build, we lose some of our history. We lose some of our physical history. And the ability to be able to take your kids or your family to a place where you can actually see a structure from 100 years ago, it's magic.
While none of these buildings represented in Boomtown still stand today, their history lives on through stories, photos, and of course, all of the people who visit the exhibit at the Springs Preserve every day. Still to come on Down for Vegas. An adorable sidekick was in order for this next story. Dog lovers and owners, this one is for you. Don't go away, we're going to show you some of the best places to walk your dog in Las Vegas.
Hey, must be super fun to ride that bike. It's awesome to go so fast you blow past every other car on the road. But you know what wouldn't be so awesome? You getting you killed going too fast.
If you won't listen to anyone else, at least listen to you. Save yourself. Ride safe. Paid for by the Nevada Departments of Public Safety and Transportation.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see. D-E-P-R. Mental illness doesn't show up on a scale. Bipolar? Sorting out a mental health concern takes professional diagnosis and treatment.
Anxiety. I thought so.
If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, don't go it alone. For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral, call 1-800-662-HELP. Learn more at samhsa.gov/support.
Ever dream of being in the movies? Why not bring the movies to you?
And cut! Coffee. That was good. We're going to have to go 10 more times.
Become a filming location today. Register your home and or business at nevadafilm.com.
If anybody needs me, I'll be in my trailer.
Welcome back. I might be a little biased, but we saved the best for last here on Down for Vegas. We brought in an absolute superstar. His name is Homer. He has 4 legs, and he is going to show us some of the best places in Las Vegas that you too can take your dog. Yeah, Homer? As a dog owner, we're always looking for places to take our furry friends. Today, we're going to show you 3 of the best places to walk your dog in Las Vegas. And what better sidekick for this video than a dog? This is my dog, Homer, and today, he's going to be our guide. You ready, buddy? You ready? First stop, Floydland Park. Oh, he's gonna go nuts over those geese. It is one of the beautiful things about this park. There's so much wildlife here, but you gotta keep a close grip on your dog. Homer's having a staring contest. He doesn't care that we're here. Literally all he wants is the ducks. This is a great place to come out with your friends, your family, your pets, maybe have a picnic when the weather's nice and just have a great day. There's plenty of park benches and picnic tables for you to come, sit, and just enjoy the scenery. Mwah. No bicycles on bridge. Homer, good thing you don't know how to ride a bicycle. You also can't read, so you have no idea what it says. He said hi. There's gonna be so much content of Homer. Give the people what they want, am I right? Today we just walked around the lake, which was gorgeous, but this park is so big, there's so much space for you and your little buddy to explore. Next stop, we just parked in the Arts District in downtown Las Vegas. The Arts District is a super popular spot to walk your dog, especially when the weather's nice. There are so many dog-friendly restaurants and bars where you can take your pup and have some food or drinks. Unfortunately, they're not open right now, but Pala is a super dog-friendly restaurant. Instead of a traditional happy hour, they host a puppy hour Wednesday through Sundays from 4 to 6 p.m. On the menu, they offer dog-friendly treats and cocktails like a barcooterie board and a puppertini. I'm here at the local brewery Huddle right now, where they, of course, also have a dog-friendly patio, so you can go get a pint, enjoy your beer on a beautiful day with your puppy. Yeah, Homer, are you going bar hopping? Nevada Brew Works right behind me also has a beautiful dog-friendly patio. Let's go, buddy. There's another dog. Homer wanted to play so bad. The best part about walking around down here is that everything is truly walkable, so you can have a full-day adventure with your pup. So naturally, I had to get a pup cup for the boy, and he's gonna love this. Hey. Yeah, good boy. Oh, there you go, Bubba's. We're here at Barkin Basin Dog Park. We're going to the dog park, buddy. You see the other dog? We're gonna go play with them. This dog park has 3 separate areas for dogs, one for small and of course one for large, which this is where Homer's gotta go. I lost my dog. Oh, there's another one of you, buddy. Homer, you want water? Next up, we're at Wayne Bunker Family Park. The great thing about this park is there's a dog park over here, plus there's a walking trail, so you got options. You could go over to the dog park and let your dog run free, or you can walk him on a leash.
Hi, big puppy.
He's a big puppy. You can come out here, you can walk your dog, you can run your dog. You could come with or without your dog and walk and run on this track. It's gorgeous. Oh, that was my sweet baby boy right there. We are all so proud of him. That's all the time we have. Join us here next time on Down for Vegas, where we talk more things to do, Vegas history, and behind the scenes looks at the city of Las Vegas. All of these videos and so much more can be found at lasvegasnevada.gov/connect, where you can watch, stream, and read everything you need to know about the city of Las Vegas. And as I say on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our content. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.